Henry, Mitchell, or Jordan lakes. For other lakes in Choccolocca Creek, please listen carefully. You can also view the advisories on a map at coosariver.org/fish guide. For Lay Lake in its entirety, limit consumption of striped bass to 1 meal per month.
Stripe?
On Lay Lake, it is advised to limit consumption of striped and largemouth bass to 1 meal per month. It is advised to limit consumption of catfish to 2 meals per month. It is advised to not eat spotted bass. On Logan Martin Lake, in its entirety, do not...
So there are 4 different fish species behind me on this whole lake that you should not eat, or you should limit consumption for methylmercury and PCBs. And like, nobody knows. The Coosa is home to the first commercial manufacturer of polychlorinated biphenyl. This is like where it all began for me. This is like my origin story. My dad is from Anniston. The Monsanto plant that created the PCBs is like very close to my grandmother's house growing up. I was the kid who would like turn rocks over and like look for stuff. Like I've always been interested in the outdoors. And my dad was like, we're like walking around and my dad's like, I'm gonna get in it because there's some water, you know, I'm gonna stomp around. And he's like, no. And it turned into this like, yes I am, no you're not. I mean, every young stubborn person has had that like back and forth where you're both just saying the same things to each other but you get louder. And finally he was like, it's gonna make you sick. And I was like, it looks fine. Like that was the number one, the first takeaway was like, you cannot look at a body of water and determine if it's clean or not based on its color or if it's clear. There is a steam plant on this section of the river called the Gaston Steam Plant, which in 2008 was named the second highest emitter of methylmercury in the nation. So this particular reservoir where I'm at today, although it is a beautiful day and it looks beautiful, beneath the surface there's so much more going on. There are PCBs in fish tissue. There's methylmercury being atmospherically deposited into our water, which is then being absorbed through the gills of our fish and then into the fish tissue. You cannot look at a fish and go, well, that looks clean, right? Just like you can't look at a body of water and go, well, that looks clean.
I guess I'm what you would call a river rat. I spent most of my free time on the river as a young adult, and now that I'm older, not much has changed. I probably spend no less than 100 days a year on the Coosa River. So I have fished probably since I was 2 or 3 years old, probably younger than Caleb here, and I really never stopped. Caleb's always been a part of that. Even at a young age, he sat in the boat with me. About 3 years ago, I put a rod in his hand, and only in a few short months, I had him progress to where he was out here on the boat fishing with me. If I could choose one person to fish with, it's Caleb. He's taken to it well, and it's really some of the best times I have these days. It's nice to think that in the worst of times, I have a skill set to be able to fish and provide for my family. But on the second hand, I'm not sure I can do that from the Coosa River. I mean, if push comes to shove, there's so many hoops that I would have to jump through so that I can take care of my family, but take care of my family with all the information that I need to make sure that I do it safely.
The river and the lake are just part of the lifeblood of the community here. And because of that, it's vital to the economy here. So I'm Andrew Jones, State Senator for District 10. I represent Etowah County, Cherokee County, and Southern DeKalb County. What starts up here in the Coosa River coming out of Georgia eventually is going to end up down at the southernmost tip of Alabama as well. So it's not just an issue for North Alabama, it's an issue for the whole state.
We are in Wetumpka, Alabama. This is my family's land. There's just a lot of history to it. I've been here plenty of times. I love the lake, and it just means a lot to me.
This land has actually been in my family for 6 generations. When slavery happened, my ancestors actually sharecropped on this plot of land here, and then they purchased it afterwards. So it's been in our family a long time. Me growing up here, coming here constantly as a child, I passed up times to go to Disney World to come here because I've been a fisherman my whole life. So it's been a part of my life, and it's part of my peace and serenity.
You can't learn everything about fishing, and every time you go out, you learn something. So I'm still constantly learning to this day. Growing up, my dad, he's pretty much taught me everything I know, to river fishing, to lake fishing, to pond fishing, it's everything.
When I was in high school and I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, they had a situation where in the Tennessee River, some of those other contaminants showed up. And so people were getting tested, and they found it in their blood. That was my first introduction to contaminants in the water.
So that fat-soluble contaminant PCBs is a known carcinogen, can be absorbed through breast milk from mother to child, found in the sediment load. Mercury, known neurotoxin, bad for pregnant women and children, causes all kinds of neurological defects. So explaining those two contaminants to a dude who's launching his boat or has got a rod in his hand, he's just like, shut up. This is my day off. And I get that, I get that. So we have to be clever. Our work is really designed to meet people where they are.
Right up the road from here is Logan Martin Dam, where there's probably some fishermen maybe catching some dinner for their children, maybe catching some dinner for their elderly neighbor, all of which are at higher risk of health effects from pollutants and contaminants that are in their water, but they wouldn't know that, would they?
What a lot of that comes from is from the coal ash power plants, actually. They produce it as part of their burning coal process, and it gets in the atmosphere.
What we're doing is we go out and survey community fishermen about their fishing and eating habits, along with their knowledge of fish consumption advisories. Many people don't know about fish consumption advisories, and these are the fishermen who should know about them.
There are over 132,000 miles of rivers and streams here in the state. There's no legislative district in which a river or stream doesn't flow through. We have people that come from all over the United States to enjoy the water here, and I think people just have a right to know what they're consuming, where they're swimming, and it's important for educating them on the water quality here, and maybe through that education, they'll help protect our waterways here in Alabama a little more.
So the push for fishermen's right to know legislation in Alabama started almost 30 years ago. The concept is that people who fish and swim and recreate in Alabama's waters have a right to know whether the fish that they catch are safe to eat, and that they have a right to know where pollution is being discharged into our waters.
It was earlier this year. I was out crappie fishing, and I was out there, and I rolled up on a flat, and I seen one of the biggest crappie I ever seen in my life. But as I got closer to it, it was laying up on its side and it was dying, and it had all kind of sores and things on it. So that gave me an alarm to say, hey, something's going on with the body of water. For me to see something like that, it concerns me.
When I was young, I always just heard it's not safe to eat the fish. You know, I didn't really know why or what it was, or, you know, and the other thing too is that you don't want to hear it from me, right? They need data. I mean, if I just say, it's not safe to eat the fish, well, that's, you know, everybody says that. That's not true. I've been eating the fish on the Coosa River for years. Now, watch out, buddy, back up. Coming from the state or the federal government, or I'd like to believe that brings a little more credibility than just some yahoo saying don't eat the fish, which is another reason why it's important. All right, here we go, buddy. This is a small hook and a small bait. The problem's gonna be throwing it. All right, you ready? Keep going. That feeling of catching those fish and being able to eat them is something that, unfortunately, with the way the fish in the Coosa River is polluted, it's not something I get to experience with Caleb. So it was difficult to try to explain that. When I think about rights, I think about the right I have to enjoy this river, to fish this river. I've really been stripped of those rights, candidly. Now I can still come do it, but because there's so many unknowns, I don't take those chances.
So in Alabama, fishermen do not have a right to know where the fish are unsafe to eat. Just let that sink in. I'm not even trying to be punny about it. You do not have a right to know where it's unsafe to eat the fish. Just like you don't have a right to know where sewage spills happen. That is insane to me. Especially if you... no, it's just insane to me. There's no caveat, actually. Yeah.
So this is the Alabama Fish Consumption Advisory Report from last year. 3 state agencies collaborate on this report. It has lots of information in it.
They go out and collect the fish, they analyze the fish tissue, and then produce the advisories. But the crucial part that's missing is educating the public about what these advisories mean.
And when it comes to getting this information to the people who are actually catching and cooking and eating fish, what's going to be more effective? A 40-page report buried on a government website, or actual signs posted where people are accessing the water with pictures of the fish, with X's through the ones that you're not supposed to eat due to contamination. People of all literacy levels can understand, and that keep people who are actually out on the water catching and eating the fish that they catch from eating polluted fish.
So everywhere from South Carolina to Texas to Oregon, these signs exist. So what we're asking for is permanent fixtures at our boat ramps and at our public access points to educate the fishers around the state about where the fish are unsafe to eat. It's kind of ironic. We live in a state abundantly rich with natural resources, full of places to hunt and fish and hike. So as Alabamians, I believe it's our responsibility to stand up together and look to these state agencies and tell them that we deserve more. We deserve more input in this process, and we deserve more information so that we can make informed decisions. Because our state motto is, we dare to defend our rights. And what does that mean for us when we don't have a right to know?
I think it's very imperative that somebody knows exactly what they're putting in their body. That's just a human right for them to know what's going on with that.
Issues like pollutants and the fisherman's right to know, these are important issues. These are the things that ensure me that the good times that I have with Caleb out here, that when Caleb's my age and he has a son, that I'm doing everything I can do to protect this.